Hello there, Monstars. Today we're going to be talking about the distributive property. And the distributive property comes in handy when we start working with larger and larger multiplication equations. When we're going from working with one digit by one digit multiplication equations and we start talking about two digit by one digit multiplication equations. So our I can statement today is I can use the distributive property to multiply and solve a two-digit by a one-digit equation. So a two-digit by a one-digit equation would look something like this: 13 times 6, and trying to solve that. So if you look at our equation of 13 times 6, I want you to go ahead and try to solve that. What's your first thought? Are you thinking of drawing an array? If you drew an array, you'd have 13 rows of 6, and that would take a very, very long time. I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm going to show you how to use the distributive property to help you solve this problem. So the first thing we need to do in our distributive property is we need to look at 13, and we need to break it down into two add-ins. What are two add-ins that equal 13? Two numbers you can add together that equal 13. Well, the simplest ones to use would be the add-in of 10 and 3. Because 10 plus 3 equals 13, correct? Yeah. All right, and now that I know I'm using my 10 and my 3 to represent my 13, I'm now going to multiply each of these by 6. So I've broke my larger multiplication equation into two smaller equations so that it's a little bit easier for me to work with. And I'm going to add these two products together to help me solve this problem. So let's first look at 10 times 6, 10 groups of 6. You could draw an array, or you could count 10 groups of 6, count 10 6 times. And what do you get when you get 10 groups of 6? Your answer is 60. And then 3 times 6, we could draw an array for 3 times 6. We could draw our 3 rows with 6 in each row to get an answer of, if we count those up, we have an answer of 18. And we're going to add these together. When I add 60 and 18, I come up with the answer of 78. And this is the answer to 13 times 6. So it's a simpler way to take our large equation, break it down to come up with our product. Let's try this again with 17 groups of 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at 17, and I'm going to break that into two add-ins. Remember, always use the 10, because that's going to be simple for you. And then I'm going to bring down my 10 times 5, and I am also going to have 7 times 5 on this side, because no matter what your add-in is, don't forget, it's always going to be times your second factor. And then we add our two products together to get our answer. So I want you to pause the video. I want you to try to solve this and hit play when you're ready. Okay, so 10 groups of 5, counted by 5s or by 10s, and your answer was 50. And 7 groups of 5, you can count by 5s, your answer is going to be 35. And when you add that together, you got an answer of 85. So 17 times 5 equals 85. Okay, I would like you to try this problem on your own. So on your paper, I want you to try this problem and then bring it in on Wednesday when our whisk is due. And we're going to talk more about this problem and the distributive property. So 18 groups of 4, 18 times 4 is your equation, and I want you to use the distributive property to solve this problem. And as always, I'm going to leave you with a joke. So here it is. What has hands? There's my little hand, little monster hand. What has hands but cannot clap? What has hands but cannot clap? What could it be? Okay, try to solve it. Bring in your whisk on Wednesday. And I hope you have a great day, Monstars.